Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin has finally confirmed the breakout into all-time highs, setting up major bullish price targets. But in the short term, Bitcoin is now flashing a bearish divergence as there's just hours to go until the next Fed meeting, where we're expected to see a rate cut. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum now bouncing from this critical trend line of support on the larger time frames, while Solana is attempting a breakout above this major resistance, but now flashing a possible bearish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more late in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to talk about the news today, because today we have an FOMC meeting, also known as a Fed meeting, where the Federal Reserve basically decides on the Fed funds rate, basically interest rates. And today, this is happening at 7 p.m. GMT time zone, so you can use that to work out with your own time zone. But 7 p.m. in the GMT time zone today is exactly when we get that interest rate decision. So when the Federal Reserve basically announces their decision on interest rates. And if we're looking at the probabilities for what we should be expecting with this Fed meeting, currently the market is pricing in a 96% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut, which means reducing interest rates by 0.25%, and just a 4% probability of a 50 basis point rate cut, which means reducing interest rates by 0.5%. And so in case you're new to all of this, what this actually means is that right now the market is expecting and pricing in for basically that 25 basis point rate cut, which means if we get that 25 basis point rate cut as the expected outcome, we shouldn't really see any major moves in the market based on that outcome, because pretty much everyone's already expecting that outcome and already pricing it in. But if we see anything other than a 25 basis point rate cut, that is where we could see a lot more volatility and a larger reaction across the market. So for example, if we see a 50 basis point rate cut, not many people are actually expecting that today, which means if we see that massive rate cut, then we'll likely see a huge pump across the markets, because lower interest rates are more bullish for markets, more bullish for the economy. But on the other hand, higher interest rates are more bearish for markets, more bearish for the economy. So if we somehow see no rate cut, if they basically leave interest rates the same today, then we'll likely see a dump across the markets, a pullback at the very least in the price of Bitcoin and the overall crypto market as well. And so ultimately, that is what we should be expecting based on the outcomes. And once again, we just have to wait and see, wait until the actual results come out at 7 p.m. GMT. That is when the rate decision actually comes out. And once again, a 25 basis point rate cut will be neutral for markets. 50 basis point rate cut would be very bullish for markets, and no rate cut, no change in rates would be bearish for markets. And as usual, I will be sharing the results of the latest Fed meeting as soon as they get released, within a minute of these results actually coming out, over on my Twitter or X in real time. So if you want those extra real-time updates throughout the day, check out my Twitter, also known as X, links down below if you want to get those extra real-time updates throughout the day. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flows today, some Bitcoin news today, we have a massive net inflow that we saw just yesterday, with of course Bitcoin breaking into new all-time highs with the Trump pump. And so first of all, obviously on Monday, we saw the massive net outflow, over $500 million leaving the Bitcoin ETFs before those election results. As I said back then, there was uncertainty in the market, people taking some risk off the table, withdrawing from the ETFs. But then basically a lot of that money is now flown back in on Wednesday. We saw a net inflow of 621, nearly 622 million US dollars coming into the Bitcoin ETFs just on Wednesday. So that's a massive net inflow, helping with buying pressure. That's pushing the price higher, at least in the short term. And if we can see more sustainable inflows like this, if we see massive net inflows but sustainable over a long period of time, eventually this will result in a price squeeze or supply squeeze for the price of Bitcoin, because obviously Bitcoin is very scarce. It is actually limited at 21 million as a maximum supply limit, which means ultimately if we continue to see these massive buying, these massive net inflows, then eventually we'll run out of Bitcoin, and that would force the price upwards over a longer period of time. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on the 4-day time frame, things are still looking bullish. The super trend indicator still sitting in the green. Looking at the 2-day time frame, we're still looking bullish, as I've been saying for a long time now on the channel, breaking out above this massive descending line of resistance. So here on the larger time frames, we're looking very bullish right now, currently in a bull run as expected. And if we're looking at the daily time frame, we have now finally seen a daily candle close above above 74,000, well above the previous all-time high, which technically now confirms the breakout into all-time highs, at least on the daily time frame. So this is very bullish as of right now, and technically speaking, this previous area of resistance in between 72,000 to 74,000 should now be acting as new support. So if we see a bit of a cool off or a slight pullback here in the short term, we should find support in that price range, and we might actually see a bit of a short-term cool off, either a sideways consolidation or a very slight pullback, something like this, for example, potentially over the next few days or so, based on this possible bearish divergence. But it's important to understand that this potential bearish divergence that's forming right now on the daily Bitcoin chart with higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI is not yet confirmed. It's possibly forming, but we still need to actually cement the lower high in place in the RSI on the daily time frame. And in order to do that, we need to see at least a couple of red candle closes confirming in the price to actually cement the lower high in place in the RSI. And so if we actually see that confirmation over the next couple of days, so once again, we haven't seen that yet, but if we see that confirmation, then that will confirm the bearish divergence, meaning we could see a bit of a pullback or at least a sideways consolidation, perhaps over around a week, give or take, that sort of time frame. So basically a bit of a slowdown or a break during the larger bullish trend or the bull run. So remember, during these bull runs, we can see little pullbacks here and there along the way up, just like how during a larger bearish trend, we can see the occasional pump here and there along the way down. And so there will likely be a lot of buyers in this price range right here. Once again, previous resistance flipping into new support. If we first confirm the bearish divergence and then see a bit of a pullback here, once again, expect some buyers to come into play at around 72,000 to 74,000 and also down towards around 71,000 right here. We do have some support based on the VPVR indicator. But despite what happens in the short term, whether we see a short-term pullback or not, once again, on the larger time frames, we're still looking very bullish right now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, now that we have confirmed the breakout into all-time highs, we have this Fibonacci extension as a major price target, basically the next major point of resistance above the current price. And that's the 1618 Fibonacci extension on the linear settings, which is sitting at around $89,000 per Bitcoin. So 89K could be coming in a matter of a week or months from now if we can actually hold this level and basically continue the bull run. And also on top of that, we have this bullish price target right here at around $80,000 per Bitcoin based on this cup and handle pattern, which has already been confirmed and is now continuing to play out. So once again, 80K as a price target based on this pattern and 89K as a price target and a point of resistance based on this Fibonacci extension. But obviously the price will not go to these levels in a straight line straight to the upside. It's very likely we'll see some slight little cool-offs here and there along the way up, kind of like what we're seeing just at the moment in the imminent short term. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 3-hour time frame, we've just now confirmed a new bearish divergence right now, which has already just started to play out. So essentially this means we should be expecting basically a very slight cool-off here in the short term, not necessarily the end of all of this bullish price action here, but maybe for a couple of days, just a slowdown from all of the bullish price action in the form of either a sideways consolidation or a very slight pullback. But remember, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, things are still looking very, very bullish right now on the larger time frames. I'm still expecting a bull run. It's just during these bull runs, we can see little cool-offs in the short term along the way. And if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take most of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade as your first trade over on Bybit, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and then deposit on that account and then basically claim the airdrop using that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5K deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there, another exchange other than Bybit, one that you can access from the US, once again, there's BitNX links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, looking at the last 1 month worth of price action, we can still see quite a lot of liquidity at around 76,500, going up towards around 78,500. So in that price range, we still have quite a lot of liquidity. And over the last 1 day, we've taken out a bit of that liquidity, just about around 76,000. But with that being said, we still have a lot of liquidity as well at around 84,000 to 86,000, give or take. So we still have a lot of liquidity to the upside here that we can take out in short squeezes if we continue the bull run, which is a likely scenario based on many factors here in the larger timeframes. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now the price of ETH is holding the line. We're holding this huge trend line that has been acting as major support since around the middle of 2022. So for basically over 2 years now, this has been huge support for the price of ETH. And currently this is sitting at roughly around 2.4K. So it's still acting as major support as of right now. And we're seeing another major bounce from this support. And the last few times actually that we've bounced from this line of support, we've seen a decent bullish movement from that line of support over the next few weeks and months. Because remember, this is on the weekly time frame. Each one of these candles is an entire week. So basically over the next multiple months, we've usually seen pretty much a bull run of some sort, or at least a major bullish move from this line of support. And right now we're potentially starting to see the same right now. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day time frame, the price of ETH is now attempting a breakout above this huge line of resistance, which was previous support and now acting as new resistance, and that's sitting at roughly around 2.8K. And as of recording this video, the price of ETH is trading slightly above 2.8K, but we still need to actually confirm the breakout with candle closes above 2.8K, ideally on the 3-day time frame or these larger time frames here. But at the very least on the daily time frame, we need to see a confirmed breakout above 2.8K in order to actually confirm the break of that level and flip much more bullish again on these slightly larger time frames. Because obviously in the short term, we can see short-term pumps here and there, no matter what the larger time frames are showing. Obviously in the short term, that can flip between bullish and bearish when we're talking about smaller moves here. But when we're talking about the larger moves, the longer term moves, in order to flip really bullish again for Ethereum, we need to confirm this breakout above 2.8K, and then we can finally start flipping much more bullish again in terms of the larger moves on the larger time frames. And if we confirm this breakout above 2.8K with candle closes above that level, and ideally flipping that into new support, in that case, we'll likely see a run pretty quickly well above $3,000, likely back up towards around 3.2K in the coming weeks. And then above that, we'll likely retrace back up towards around 3,500, and then above that, the next major resistance would be sitting at around 3.9K to 4K based on these previous highs. And if we're zooming into the 12-hour time frame, we can now see that attempted breakout above this huge area of resistance in between 2.7K to 2.8K, where we've previously seen many rejections from over the last multiple months here. So this is significant resistance, obviously, right now for the price of ETH, which means if we can see that confirmed breakout with actual candle closes above this resistance, that will be a big deal for Ethereum. That would likely send the price much, much higher, as it would be a very bullish signal. But if we actually confirm this breakout right now and over the coming days here with some candle closes above this resistance, we would likely first see some sort of retest potentially, or a bit of a slowdown before continuing that larger bullish move later on, simply due to the fact that the 12-hour Ethereum RSI is right now starting to enter into overbought territories. And the last few times this has happened, we have seen a bit of a slowdown or even a pullback that's basically followed after that overbought signal. So just keep that in mind. Things are starting to get a bit overbought as of right now on the 12-hour time frame, for example, and on slightly larger time frames like the daily time frame, kind of like with Bitcoin right now, we're basically seeing overbought on the daily time frame. But this is just telling us that in the short term, we should be expecting just a very slight cool off or just some sort of pullback or sideways consolidation, but not necessarily the end of the larger bullish move. And so due to that, if we confirm this breakout, we should be expecting just a slight little cool off in the short term, maybe a retest like this, and then continuing the larger bullish move later on. But once again, despite what happens in the short term, if we can confirm the breakout above 2.8k, we're looking very bullish on the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the daily time frame, right now the price of Solana is attempting a breakout above this critical area of resistance where we've previously seen major rejections from over the last multiple months here, and this is sitting in between around 183 to 187. But right now, as the price is possibly breaking out here, we still need to actually confirm candle closes on the daily time frame above 187 in order to actually confirm this breakout. And just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're possibly forming a bearish divergence here for Solana on this daily time frame, as we can see, with higher highs confirmed in the price but lower highs possibly forming in the RSI. But the lower high in the RSI still needs to be confirmed, with at least a couple of red candle closes confirming in the price to actually cement the lower high in place in the RSI. So this is possibly forming right now, but not confirmed, which means it's not active, it's not playing out. It's just something to pay attention to in case it does actually confirm, possibly in the coming days. But unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana actually has a little bit more room to run, because unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum that are basically around those overbought territories, Solana on the daily time frame in the daily RSI is not in overbought territories. We still have more room to the upside, which is why this bearish divergence is not confirmed as of right now, because if we continue running to the upside here and basically confirm this breakout above this resistance, in that case, that will drag the RSI up towards overbought. And if the RSI basically breaks out above this previous high with higher highs in the RSI, there'll be no bearish divergence at all. And so ultimately, Solana's looking bullish here, especially if we see this daily candle close above 187. We're looking very bullish right now because the bearish divergence is not confirmed. It's just if it does confirm, then we could likely see a bit of a short-term cool-off during the larger bullish move. So either way, we're looking very bullish right now in terms of the larger trend and momentum. And the next major area of resistance is sitting in between around $200 to $210. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, we're also reaching these slightly overbought territories just in the short term. So we can see a small slowdown in the short term after that huge bullish move. Obviously, we saw a massive bullish momentum right here, and now we're starting to just slow down a little bit in the short term. But ultimately, once again, on these larger timeframes, we're still looking very bullish right now. So that's the situation for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and that's what I'm expecting and looking out for in the short term and for the longer term. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.